Holidays, everybody. What's today's date?
It's
The
the
10th.
10th.
Yeah, 2 weeks to Christmas.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess. I don't keep track. It just happens.
Right. It just shows up. It's just there.
It is. It's just,
So I've got my little Christmas tree up. It's on my counter. It's a little ceramic Disney one.
yep.
That is my Christmas tree. I've got wreaths and stuff on the outside, but that's my Christmas tree. My dogs can't pee on it or any of that other stuff that they go with. Oh, look, a tree in the house.
I saw a whole reel of cats at Christmas time about all the inventive ways cat owners put up their tree or secured it so that it couldn't get broken. Half of them did get broken anyway, but the looks on the cats' faces are just like, a tree in the house.
My cats were always good with the tree, but we had stuffed animals. Every ornament was a stuffy, so they couldn't break
Oh,
anything.
no, glass.
Yeah, nothing. So, or that they didn't even, if they played with it, it wasn't that big of a deal. So, yep, all of it was stuffies. We also had hardwood floors, so I'm like, there you go. Mm-hmm.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm like, just get little stuffies everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, but still, this goes in the box, out of the box.
I like it. Do you plug it in? Does it have lights?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, cool. That's very cool.
And it plays music. So it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
we're good. Hey, Kayla. So we're just gonna do like some fun holiday stories today. All right, that we've experienced, whether they're grooming or not grooming. So who wants to go first?
I've
Michelle,
got a,
go
I've got a
first.
couple. I've got a couple.
Okay.
I won't tell you the one that I've told over and over again. It's still fun to tell and it's still fun to hear, but I'll tell you this other one. Of course, at Christmas time, you get the pets that everybody forgot about all year long, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, get the dog groomed. We're having a party. We can't let people see that we keep the dog in this condition." Even though I could tell the dog was loved, and it was a young dog, and the story was that they had just got it from the rescue, so it still had mats on the ears, a little cocker spaniel. And I'm thinking, rescues usually give them a haircut and a bath before you get them, but I digress. So he comes in with his little girl and this cute little girl, cocker spaniel, just precious and sweet. And I said, I may have to take her all the way short, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. He's like, could you try and save the length of the ears? I'm like, I'll try, knowing in the back of my mind, it ain't going to happen. And now, this is many, many years ago. I've since changed my language to say that, oh, no, if you leave her with me, she's going to be naked. There's no leeway. And if I do, am able to save it, it's magic and it's a present. However, I take the dog in, I strip her down, basically, get her all bathed up. So sweet. Very, very nice. We give her a nice Christmas bandana, and I didn't want the guy to be upset, so I go out and I charge him the money. He pays, and he brought his little cute daughter with him. And I said, sir, I wasn't able to save any length on the body, so she's pretty smooth. There, 2 doors down is like a pet shop that sells sweaters and whatnot. And I said, and I wasn't able to save the ears at all like that. Deadpan face, he leans forward and he goes, so you used anesthesia, right? And I was like, the hair. She still has the ears. She still has ears. So that was pretty benign. He was not joking either. He wasn't like, did you use anesthetic? He thought I had removed his dog's ears. So,
Hey, Kayla, type it in. We'll read out your story.
so that was one of them. So somebody else can go, and I'll tell the other one later.
Well, we do something fun for Christmas. And it's a lot of fun for all the employees. We allow the groomers to gift one free groom to a client of their choice, or actually all employees. And it is so, it is hard. Some of these people, I did mine like for one of my clients that his wife passed away last year. And just the joy that it brings, and watching our clients and the employees enjoy that as well. Like, I love hearing the stories of people who have had hard times that, it just made their holiday season.
Okay, Angie, you got one?
I had an amazing couple I groomed their Doberman and their Great Pyrenees for years. And they wanted to donate uh, half a year of grooms to one of my regular customers who needed it the most. And I picked an elderly woman. She had rheumatoid arthritis. Couldn't even write a check without, I mean, I had to take it directly to the bank. I couldn't mobile deposit it because it was always rejected because you couldn't really read it. And so she got the grooms. She owned a Bichon that I groomed for 15 years. And despite the fact that this woman couldn't hold a pen to write a check, that dog never had a mat. He was in a 2-inch body and a scissored head. Never had a mat all those years. So I was like, her husband had passed away, her son passed away, very short period of time. And I gifted her and all of her family would come in and buy gift cards for her for Christmas to get her grooms. So between the gift cards and this, it got her like a whole year of free grooms. Anybody needed it, it was her. And this woman, every single time she came in, not with the free grooms, but I mean every single time, she brought homemade cookies, Dunkin' Donuts, something. Every time. I mean, talk about one of my favorite customers. I adored this woman. And yeah, she's just one of those people that you just love. So, yeah. So that was one for me.
Okay, Kayla's story. I'm going to read Kayla's story. She's working at a big box store. She walked out to use the restroom because, what is lunch during holiday grooming? And a little PS from her, groomers take lunch. She walks outside the salon, which was a fishbowl, so she had some people watching through the window. And this woman stops me walking out. She then points to a dog being groomed on the table, and she says, "How much?" I say, "Oh, do you have a Yorkie too?" And then I start explaining pricing, etc., and services. The woman looks at me again, puzzled, and goes, "No, I want to know how much. I want to buy the dog being groomed on the table." I then tell her, "Oh, these are clients, not dogs for sale." She got so upset, she asked to speak to the store. Hold on. Where did I leave off? To the store manager that it was false advertising, having them on display. It took almost having to call the police to have her leave the store after she continued to flip her lid. We weren't selling dogs, and she wanted a dog for Christmas. Oh, joy. Happy holidays.
Okay there, crazy pants. That's not how it works.
No. Okay, so I had a client, and I groomed her dog till the dog passed away, so she followed me out of Petco. She had a golden retriever, and she comes in one day, and she usually brought me some little snacky thing. But she brought me a plate of chocolate chip cookies. I mean, a plate of chocolate chip cookies that were still warm. Okay. She hands me her dog. She hands me the plate, wishes me a happy holidays, and then proceeds to do what she does best, which is ream out the store manager for something perceived in the store. All right. So I take my plate of still warm cookies because, I've always believed in taking my breaks, regardless of where I worked, and went over to the manager's office where he was still in the throes of it. I sat down with my plate of cookies, and he finally sits down and he reaches for one of my cookies. And I told him, "No, you can't have this. She doesn't like you. He only likes me. These are my cookies."
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I got another good one.
All right. Go ahead, Angie.
Okay, so it's Christmas Eve. Slammed. Just slammed. 12-hour day. I am literally exhausted. Barely keep my eyes open. Last dog is about to go home. His mom comes in and she hands me this tray. I haven't had a break all day. No lunch. I got to pee once. 12-hour day. My stomach is just like raw. I am so hungry. I'm so thirsty. She hands me a 6-pack of cold Dr. Pepper
Mm.
and a tray of bread. And I'm like, sweet. All right. So I give her the dog, and she gives me a Christmas tip, and she leaves. So I'm vacuuming and washing and everything, and day cleanup. And it's just me. And I am mowing this bread because I am so hungry and it's warm. It is so good. As you know, I have an alcohol allergy. A very, very, very small amount of alcohol makes me very, very, very intoxicated.
I can only imagine.
It was rum bread.
Rum bread.
So I ate about 5, 6 pieces.
Nice.
I get in my car and I'm like, oh, I got to go to Home Depot because I got to get a thing to fix the snow shovel because there's snow coming and it. Okay, so I'm going to Home Depot. I get about a mile away from the salon and I'm like,
Something's happening. I'm
no,
in danger.
this is bad. This is really, really, really bad. Oh no, no, no. So I pull into McDonald's and I'm just sitting there like, what's going on? What's going on? And it didn't taste like alcohol. It tasted like caramel. So I thought it was like
Delicious, right?
caramelly kind of glazed thing.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? So I called my friend Emma and I'm like, okay, so this is what happened. And I'm feeling really wiggly and I don't know what's going on. And she's like, you're hammered? And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm in a car. What do I do?
In the car.
And I'm like, I don't want to be drinking and driving. What do I do? What do I do? And she's like, okay, calm down, crazy pants. Go into McDonald's. She's like, go eat a bunch of food. And I'm like, okay, like what? And she's like, I don't know. Something,
Anything, everything.
fries, a quarter pounder with cheese. Just go stuff it in your face. So I'm like, okay. So I go into McDonald's. I ate a quarter pounder with cheese. I ate a large French fry. At this point, I'm sitting at the table like eyeballs like this big, going, everybody knows.
With you, everybody does know.
So I'm just like, oh my God, this is so sad. I'm going to be trapped in McDonald's for forever. So I finish the food. Then I sit there for like 45 minutes. And so she calls me back and she's like, okay, did you eat? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, can you walk? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm still in the seat. I'm afraid. She's like, go to the restroom. I'm like, okay. So I get up and I'm like, oh, okay. Because I have an allergy and I get intoxicated so quickly, it also processes quite quickly. So I'm like, okay, do a little sobriety test of myself. Alphabet backwards. That. Okay, cool. I'm no longer hammered. So I go to Home Depot and I'm walking around and I'm like, do I smell like booze? No, I just smell like dirty
Are you going to
dog.
smell like booze from around Kate?
And, so I'm like, no, I just smell like dog butt. Okay, good.
There.
So I got the piece of the snow rake, got back in my car, drove home, and I went to reach over to grab it, and I was like, no, evil cake. But it smelled really good. And I'm like, no more cake.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I got hammered on Christmas Eve.
That's nice. What a good story.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do we remember the Nextels? How much am I dating myself?
Oh God, yeah. Nextels were awesome.
I love Nextels. And for those who don't know what a
I don't
Nextel
know.
is, okay, they were walkie-talkies. They were phone walkie.
Oh, a Nextel. Yeah.
They were great. I mean, I had a lot of fun with the Nextel. Whenever I groomed a particular cat named Damien, who sounded like a mountain lion, I would just like Nextel friends, and there was like no filter on it. You Nextel somebody, it went through.
Isn't it the ones that had the walkie-talkie feature, but it was a phone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So all of a sudden they'd be grooming, and then this mountain lion would be screeching from their phone. Okay. So I got a really nice box of chocolate from one of my clients. Okay. And these are awesome. And I'm eating them. And I thought I was next telling my friend Beth, but I was actually next telling my husband. And I'm like, oh my God, these chocolates are so good. And this is not going to see a single one of them.
That's perfect.
And he's like,
And as he's like, oh, really?
tell me that.
Like, damn.
Well, you could still eat it before you got there, so he still couldn't see them.
When I worked at the, are you done? I don't want
I'm
to interrupt.
done.
Okay. When I worked at the vet clinic, I don't even remember. It was a few years in. Obviously, there was 4 or 5 doctors at this vet clinic, and then I think it was just me. I think it was just me or maybe a part-time groomer in the grooming department. Anyways, people like to bring in gifts and candies and all these other things. So they wanted to do a competition to see who would get more gifts. And it was like the grooming department against the vet clinic. And we were like very outnumbered. And we even had other rules. Like it had to be not a tip that was handed to you. And it couldn't be a regular tip in a card. It had to be like a tip that was above and beyond. So there were like rules for the grooming department. And every year for years, we always beat them out because we were better than that. And we got all the fun stuff. I'm like, haha. So yes, our clients love us more. But no, it was always, we had like this little friendly competition every year, and we would like tally it up, and the grooming department would win in the
That's nice.
All right. So you retired for how many years now? 5, more than 5, 6 years going on 6 years.
Yeah.
I still have lotion and candles.
From 6 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, I got another one.
I've got 2.
All right. Okay, Michelle
yeah.
first.
I'll tell the one that I haven't told recently, and then I'll tell the one that I like to tell because it's like Charlie Brown's Christmas. So the first one is we had a strange client. No, nothing strange about that. We all have our little weirdlets, right? This woman obviously had money. She was coming to our salon. She drove a nice car, but she was bone thin. She was between 25 and 40, like just a timeless. She had bleached platinum hair, short, and she just had this air about her like she was on heroin all the time. Like, that's just how she acted. I don't know. She might have been. I don't know. Okay? I don't know. And we always would, if we saw her on the books, because we had written books at the time, if somebody saw her on their book, they'd secretly switch it to somebody else. Her dog was nice. Everything was fine. They just thought she was weird. Well, I don't care if you're weird. I'm weird. It's fine. So, and this is a little bit around Christmas time. So around Christmas time, we laid out dog treats, like to buy them, because we weren't a bakery, but we would select special, people that did make dog treats. It was Christmassy and this, that, and the other. They were laid out. They were clearly marked. They were for dogs. So she paid and I went to go get her dog. When I came back, she was standing there looking out the window, eating the dog biscuits. And I just for a second, I was just like, and then I didn't say anything. I'm like, let her enjoy the biscuit. She's like, these are really good. I'll take some of these too. I'm like, okay. And that was that. She was just a weird woman. She's a weird woman. Yeah. A heroin addict with expensive taste, eating dog biscuits in the lobby. So yeah. So at that same place, this is on Christmas Eve. And this is back in the day when my husband helped me bathe some Christmases long in the past, and it was the year our total was 19 dogs between me and him. We did 19 dogs. Yeah, and some of them were baths. Not all of them were haircuts, but they were all de-sheds and baths, and a regular day. So he did 19. I was closing up at 7. He'd already gone home. And this young lady runs in the door and she's like, oh my God, I hope you're not closed. Can you groom my dog? And I'm like, well, we're kind of close. Like my back lights were off. You know what I mean? The mop was going like Carol Burnett show, And she's like, no, my one job was to get my dog groomed before the holiday party, blah, blah, like that. Right. And I'm like, well, what kind of dog is it? She goes, it's a standard poodle. And I slapped the table softly and I said, lady, it's going to take $800 for me to open up my tub area back. She opened up her purse and went flip, 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 flip 8 times, $100 bills. And I flipped on all the lights, locked the door, and she sat there and read a magazine while I did that dog. And that's my Merry Christmas story.
I love it.
Thank you. So I had a guy come in, maybe 10, 15 years older than I was. And he comes in wearing this baseball cap. And it's got one of those dangly mistletoe things.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had dropped the dog off. He had a little Shih Tzu he had dropped off earlier in the day. And so he came back in. And I said, she's going to be this much. And he said, okay. So he, did the payment. And then he said,
run along, sir.
And you guys know my standard response. Mary, what is my standard response?
Oh, I'm not going to say it, but go ahead.
No. Oh, no, thank you. How many times you remember in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you. And he's like, oh, come on. Give me a little something, something here. And so Angie hands me his dog. And he closes his eyes and he leans over. And he goes, and I held up the dog. And the dog went, and he was like, oh, oh. And
That's funny. Well, at least you didn't hold him backwards.
Right.
No, he got his kids, but it sure as hell wasn't for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
so,
Angie, do you have a weird animal fact this week?
I do. It's actually on orangutans.
All right. Before we wrap up, well, it was Angie's weird animal fact. Any more stories?
No, the rest I'm trying to block.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, I've told my 1-star Yelp review enough. So, all right, you
All
ready?
right. Ready? Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Angie's Weekly Weird Fact.
Okay, so orangutans will self-medicate. They create a paste from the acar kuning plant, and so they apply it over wounds. And what they do is they will continue to self-medicate for as long as it takes to heal. And here's the crazy thing, is that the humans that populate the area know that this plant actually has real, honest to goodness, antibacterial healing properties and will heal wounds and kill bacteria. And somehow the orangutans had figured this out, and they use it. And so they stay with their mom up until they're about 7 years old. The excess skin on a male orangutan is called a flange. And
Angie's Weekly Weird Fact.
so all the like bulbous
That
skin
weird
all
thing.
around there, and females think that's really hot and sexy. So the ones with like more stuff, they get all the hot
More stuff.
So they're like, that's sexy. I'll have some of that. So yeah, it's for whatever reason, I'm not sure what evolutionary thing that provides. And I didn't have time to check it out because I was like thinking about this on my way back from Walmart today. And I was like, ooh, yeah, orangutans. Because that's how this happens every week. And, or I say to somebody, give me an animal. And they go, this. And I go, ooh. And then weird animal facts occur. So
I think it has to do with the ability to lead. He's the largest. He's the strongest. He'll produce the strongest offspring. I think that has a lot to do with it. As primates, we probably do the same thing in a lot of cases. Whoever can protect us or, provide for us or whatever, from a female perspective anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was cool.
I think they're amazing. I love orangutans.
And they'll take, they take the leaves and they smush it up, right? So they eat some of it. So they're dosing ingested antibiotic.
Mhm.
And then they chew it up, and then they'll chew more, spit it into a leaf, take water, mix it in there, make a paste, and like rub it on wounds.
That's very cool. Animals self-medicate all the time. A lot of them do. Chimpanzees have even been found to travel outside their territory to the place where the plant grows. Not that particular plant, I don't think, but the plant that they need.
Yeah,
Take some or medicate there and then go back into their tribal territory.
that is just the coolest thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I saw an orangutan in a
What's the name of that plant?
Akar kunai.
So I'm wondering,
Kuning. I looked it up when I got home because I couldn't
look
remember.
it up and let me know. Because I'm also wondering, can I get that plant for my greenhouse?
That's a good question. That is a very good
Probably
question.
not, because you can't provide the same terroir as the plant needs. And a good rule of thumb is always, wherever you are, there are plants that provide those properties to you. That's the beauty of the earth and of herbology. Ask an herbologist. There's probably a regional book for every region in the U.S. and across the world that actually tells you what the native fauna and flora are to help you with those things.
Yeah, it's called Akar Kuning, Kuning. And it's from South Asia, apparently.
I don't know. You might be able to get away with that. It would depend. You'd have to study that.
All right, so I see more books in my future.
Darn.
So yeah. So that's the.
I'll have it in salve form, Jessica.
From
Because
those
Lord knows
escalators.
my bobos need pastes rubbed on them.
Here and things just go right.
Yeah.
She'll be sad she missed it.
All right, so we are going to wrap up. In theory, we will be back next week, but as it's the holiday, we will see who actually shows up. Okay,
I will. I'm just not doing anything. It'll be great.
So
with another weird animal fact about
Right.
some animal I saw with a Santa hat on. So
Yeah.
Reindeer. You did one on reindeer, didn't you?
yeah, I did. I kind of hit all the buttons on that. So I'm kind of
All
on a
right.
reindeer.
Hold
I
on.
think you should do hyenas.
I did hyenas.
Or we have to wait till Chris can do hyenas. No. Hey, I know. You
I
can
know
do.
it. No,
You could do. You could do sea turtles. They have an interesting life. Sea
they
turtles.
actually do. Okay, sea turtles.
It's a very interesting animal.
Okay, so on that note, ladies and gentlemen, because we got Pedro here.
Yes. Good
Uh,
night, guys.
see you next week.